They say kindness is soft, that it folds easy, that it breaks. But what if I told you it was kindness that dragged a dying woman up a hill? Kindness that gave away its last breath, its last dollar, its last piece of memory, and still whispered, "Please live." What if I told you the smallest hands sometimes carry the heaviest hearts? And it's not always the ones in suits or capes who save the world. Sometimes it's a barefoot girl, with braids undone and tomatoes in a broken cart, who teaches us what courage really means. Subscribe to our channel because we are building a community where kindness is our most cherished and honored words. The town was the kind of quiet that didn't ask questions. Just dust and rust. Wooden carts squeaking over earth that hadn't seen pavement in decades. Maya pushed her cart like it was her own body. 12 years old. Black. Slim. Braids loose. Shirt too wide. Skirt patched like history on her knees. No shoes. Just mud and memory. She wasn't selling vegetables. She was selling survival. 3 tomatoes. Some tired greens. A bundle of onions she picked by flashlight while her stepmother slept off another bottle on the porch. Her voice was sandpaper in the wind. Fresh greens, $1 a bundle. But no one stopped. Not when she needed them to. Umbrellas and colorful crates drew the crowd elsewhere. Places with laughter, samples, smiles. No one smiled at Maya. One woman clutched her purse tighter and muttered, "That child should be in school." As if Maya didn't already know. As if school could feed her. As if homework could soften fists. She needed $10. 10. Or she'd feel the bruises rise again like last week. She adjusted the bundles in her cart, made them look fuller. Like lies could turn into food. But the sun beat down, sweat clinging to her skin like second skin. A man stopped. Dirty overalls. Cracked voice. 50 cents, he said. For the whole bunch. She didn't answer fast enough. He scoffed. "Girls like you oughta know better than to argue," and walked away. She didn't cry. Not here. Not anymore. The market thinned. Colors packed into crates. Money counted with tired hands. But not Maya's. Her cart was still half full, and her heart was even emptier. She whispered, "It's okay. I'll sell more on the walk home." But she didn't believe herself. Her voice had learned not to lie. The road home was long, framed by dying trees, ditches grown wild, and the hum of cars that never stopped for girls with patched skirts. She walked slowly, knuckles raw from the cart's wooden grip, feet burning with each step, and fear growing with every thought of home. Rick, her stepmother, waited with silence sharp as broken glass. And Maya hadn't earned peace today. Then a sound. A screech. A thud. A silence that screamed. Around the bend, a shape spilled across gravel like a shadow spilled from heaven. A woman. Older. Twisted at the leg. Blood blooming beneath her head like a red cruel flower. Clothes clean. Wrinkled. Hat lost in the grass. A grandmother, maybe. Someone who should have been holding a mug and humming a hymn, not dying in the dirt. Maya ran. Not for show. Not for glory. Just ran. Knees hit gravel. Hands touched cold skin. "Ma'am?" she whispered. No answer but breath. Faint. Enough. She looked around. No cars stopped. No one came. No phone in her pocket. She had never owned one. She looked at her cart. It wasn't built for this nails, hope, and will squeaks, but it moved. She dragged it to the woman, shoved aside the vegetables, bent to lift. Her arms were tired. But love doesn't ask about tired. "Please don't die," she whispered. 1 lift failed. 2 lifts dragged. 3 she got the woman in. Awkward. Bloody. Heavy. But she was in. Maya gripped the handles. And pushed. The road to the hospital climbed like judgment. Her legs burned. Her back screamed. The cart squeaked a protest with every wheel spin. A truck passed. Slowed. Sped away. No one helped. "Please," Maya whispered to the wind. "Just let me get there. 20 minutes. Maybe more." Time forgot her. Pain didn't. But when the hospital doors came into view, she ran. Ran the last few steps like her life or someone else's depended on it. Because it did. "Help!" she cried. Somebody help. Nurses turned. One blinked. One gasped. A girl, sweaty, bleeding from her own scraped knee, pushing a woman on a cart meant for tomatoes. Do you know her name? They asked. Maya shook her head. No. Does she have insurance? She reached into her skirt pocket, pulled out crumpled bills. The nurse stared. That's not enough. So Maya did the only thing left. She reached for her neck, fingers trembling, untied a thin worn chain, a small silver pendant. Her mother's, the last thing she had left that whispered love. She held it out, both hands shaking. Please take it. Just save her. A long silence. Then the nurse nodded, and the woman was wheeled away. Maya stood there.
No card. No vegetables.
No money.
No necklace.
But someone might live. And that had to be enough. By the time she left the hospital, the sky was the color of regret. Heavy clouds sagged above her, as if even heaven couldn't hold back the tears. Maya walked.
No card.
No food. No silver glint at her collarbone. Just sore arms, burning feet, and the ghost of her mother's voice fading under the weight of sacrifice. She reached the trailer, that leaning box of rust and rot. Cardboard windows. A screen door that screamed every time it opened. Rick's truck wasn't in the yard. A gift of borrowed time. She stepped in. The house smelled like sweat, cheap liquor, and loneliness. The fan clattered weakly in the corner. A defeated wind. She placed the few dollars she had left on the kitchen counter. Quietly. And then she waited. Like waiting for a storm. You don't stop it. You just brace for the first strike. The door slammed open. Boots hit the floor like thunder. What the hell you been? Rick barked. Maya's breath caught. I was at the market. Rick looked at the money, then at her. That's it. He stepped forward, eyes wild, hands twitching. You think that's enough? I tried. Her voice shook. I tried real hard. Tried. Don't pay the bills, girl. I helped someone, she whispered. A woman got hit by a car. She was bleeding. His hand came fast, faster than fear. The slap cracked across her face. She staggered back into the table. You gave my money away? He growled. To some stranger? She steadied herself, barely upright. I gave them Mama's necklace. Silence. That stopped him. That necklace was silver, he said, voice low. That was worth something. I know, she said. But she would have died. His hand gripped her arm, tight like ownership. You don't get to make choices. You live under my roof. You do what I say. It was mine, she said. Soft, strong. That was the wrong thing to say. He shoved her. Hard. She hit the wall, then the floor. The bruise bloomed before her breath came back. Rick paced, cursed, muttered. You think you're better than me now? You think saving some bleeding stranger makes you a hero? He turned. Get out. She blinked. Didn't move. I said, get out. He opened the door. She stood, slow, on shaking legs. Didn't cry. Didn't speak. Just walked through the door. Into the rain. Into the night. Into the unknown. Rain soaked her like truth. Her braids stuck to her cheeks. Her clothes clung like second skin. She walked through the fields, past ghosts and mud, past the life that had never wanted her. She reached the edge of town, found a rusted bench beside a crooked bus stop, and sat.
No tears.
Just stillness, just the kind of silence that hums in the bones. She wrapped her arms around herself, held the space where the necklace used to lie, the space that felt like her mother's voice had been cut away. Cars passed. One slowed, didn't stop. People glanced, then looked away. Because we always say, that's a shame, but we rarely say, come with me. The room was dim. Soft beeps pierced the silence. For lines glowed faint green against pale skin. The smell of antiseptic and hope clung to the walls. Evelyn stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, not fully, but enough. She winced. The pain was sharp, familiar. She remembered falling. Then, nothing. Her voice cracked. Where am I? A nurse leaned over. You're in Mercy Hospital. You were brought in last night. Evelyn blinked again. By who? The nurse paused. A young girl, black, thin, maybe 12, pushed you in here. On a vegetable cart. Evelyn stared. Her voice, dusted with disbelief. A child. The nurse nodded. She gave us everything she had. Some dollars, then a necklace. Said it was silver. Said to save you. Evelyn closed her eyes. That necklace. She didn't know its story, but she knew its cost. By mid-morning, Evelyn had visitors. Her assistant, lawyers, people in suits with worried eyes and fast words. She cut through the noise. I want to find her. Ma'am, her assistant replied. You need rest. No, Evelyn said. I need answers. That child saved me. While others watched, she moved. While the world turned its back, she pushed a stranger uphill. She pointed to her tablet. Check the cameras. Find the nurse who admitted me. Ask the market vendors. Find the girl with the cart. She didn't want press. Didn't want pity. She wanted Maya. Not to thank her, but to honor her. They searched every stand, every stall. A vendor remembered her. Quiet girl, she said. Wears her mother's necklace like a badge. But Maya hadn't been seen since the storm. They tried her trailer. Empty. Silent. The kind of silence that means something had been broken. That evening, Evelyn stepped into a black SUV. Still stiff, ribs tight beneath her coat. Take me to the bus stop by the auto garage, she said. If she has nowhere, that's where she'd be. The driver slowed as the corner came. And there, curled on a rusted bench, was Maya. Hair unbraided, face bruised, body wrapped in soaked clothes and silence. Evelyn stepped out. She walked slowly, not to scare her, but to see her. I believe, she said gently. You have something of mine. Maya looked up. It was her, the woman from the cart. Evelyn reached into her coat, unwrapped a small bundle. Inside, shining in the morning sun, was the silver necklace. Cleaned, polished, restored. I believe, Evelyn whispered. You gave this to save my life. Maya stared, silent, tears at the edge of her eyes, but too proud to fall. I don't want anything from you, she said quietly. I know, Evelyn replied. That's why I'm here. Not to save you, but to walk beside you. She held the necklace out not as a gift, as a return. After a long silence, Maya reached out. Her fingers touched Evelyn's palm, and the silver came home. Evelyn didn't promise to be her mother, didn't promise fairy tales. But she said, You'll never sleep on a bench again, if you'll come with me. Maya didn't speak, but she stood, and that was enough. They didn't arrive at a mansion.
No gold gates. No cameras flashing.
Just a quiet house nestled beneath a canopy of maple trees, where the wind sounded like a lullaby and the hallway smelled of lemon and lavender. Evelyn didn't show her closets. She showed her kitchen. Didn't flaunt her degrees. She made Maya tea. And for the first time in years, Maya slept on a bed. With sheets. With pillows. With warmth. And no fists waiting behind the morning. Evelyn didn't ask for details. Didn't dig into bruises. She let Maya speak when she was ready. And when Maya didn't speak, Evelyn simply sat beside her. Not fixing, not pressing, just present. And slowly, Maya healed. The necklace stayed on. Never taken off again. The silver wasn't just metal, it was proof that her mother's love still walked with her. 6 months later, on the edge of town where the grass grew wild and the sky touched the roof of a red brick building, the ribbon was cut. It didn't make the national news. No governor came.
No headline screamed.
But carved above the doorway in soft white stone were the words, The Zoe Center for Youth and Courage. Few knew who Zoe was. Fewer still knew that Zoe was Evelyn's daughter. But Evelyn did. And Maya knew that she had helped bring Zoe's name into something living. Something that healed. Inside the center, laughter bounced through painted halls. Children drew pictures with shaky hands and steady hearts. Books lined the walls. Pots simmered in the kitchen. Paintings told stories words couldn't. And Maya? She was there for every moment, tutoring younger girls, helping hands find rhythm with sewing needles, making sure everyone had enough rice before the pot was scraped clean. Her braids were longer now, her clothes her own, chosen, clean. But it was her eyes that told the truth. No longer wide with fear, they were calm, grounded, burning steady like a flame that had learned it could live without being consumed. Evelyn often stood in the hallway and watched her. Didn't interrupt, didn't lead, just watched. As the girl who once gave her everything became the reason other children found a reason to wake up with hope. It had been 3 years. The air smelled of fall, crisp leaves and stories folded in time. Children played in the courtyard of the Zoe Center. Their voices rose like a song written by survival and sung in harmony with hope. Maya, now 15, sat beneath a maple tree, a book in her lap, a pencil tucked behind her ear. Evelyn sat beside her. Their shadows stretched together across the stone path. "I never asked," Maya said quietly. "Why did you name it after her, and not me?" Evelyn smiled, soft, wistful. "I named it Zoe because what you gave me brought her back." Maya looked down. "Was she kind?" "She was brave," Evelyn said. "But I'm not sure even she would have done what you did." Maya didn't speak right away. Then she said, "I didn't do it to be remembered." Evelyn nodded. "That's why I'll never forget." A gust of wind scattered yellow leaves at their feet. Somewhere behind them, laughter rose, and for a moment all was still. Maya leaned gently onto Evelyn's shoulder, not like a child needing rescue, but like a soul finally at peace with the weight she had once carried alone. The Zoe Center grew. More children came. Some carried bruises. Some carried silence. But all of them carried stories waiting for someone to listen. Maya was there through it all. Never loud. Never flashy. Just steady. Like the silver that still hung around her neck. And Evelyn? She lived with purpose now. Because once, when the world forgot her, a little girl with nothing gave everything, and asked for nothing. Years later, when someone asked Evelyn, "Why did you change?" she said, "Because once, a girl gave me the last piece of her mother to save a stranger. She didn't know my name, didn't wait for praise. She gave because it was right, and I owed her the rest of my life." And now, before we go, subscribe to our channel because we are building a community where kindness is our most cherished and honored words. Turn on your notification and subscribe for more amazing content.